I wanted to get onto mental health, right? Are you girls familiar with whether it's bipolar or borderline personality disorder or narcissistic personality disorder? Mm-hmm. Do you know people who have mental health issues that are suffering from it? Okay. So tell us a bit about what's
it's a hell of a ride.
How do you get diagnosed with bipolar? What are some of the signs of that?
So for me, it started out as PTSD that was undiagnosed, and then it kind of branched into other areas. But for me, it actually took about 4 years, I want to say in total, for it to actually be labeled on a file that I'm bipolar. So if I go to a hospital or whatever, it's hell. But I hate the medication that they put me on. It either zones me out, dumbs me down, makes me tired, and it's really, really dangerous. And right now I'm trying to start a family with Chris, right? So if I get pregnant and I even take this type of medication for a couple weeks, it could severely damage an embryo. So with all that being said, I have to deal with being unmedicated as bipolar. It's interesting. Morning times are the worst, I'm not gonna lie. Don't wake a sleeping dog. That saying came from me. I'm going to tell you that. If somebody comes in and says the wrong thing to me in the morning time, I will take a door off the fucking hinges.
So tell me, we're talking about bipolar. Tell me, what are some of the what happens when if they get triggered? So
for me specifically, there's no balance of emotion. So if something triggers me,
you can rage.
I rage, or I'm super emotional. And I'm talking rage. My face goes red. I feel like a rage on the inside, and the only way to get it out is if I hit something or myself. In my earlier bipolar days, I would do a lot of headbanging, self-hitting, because I would rather hurt myself than hurt somebody else. And then moving past that, it became, I'd rather just fucking hit drywall because that's easier to clean up than explain my face.
So you have a problem regulating your emotions.
Regulating the emotions, and reacting to things and processing those coping, right? So if I have an expectation for the day and it doesn't go my way, or somebody says something to me, I can't process it like a normal person. I'll react right away, and then that causes problems. And then I have temper tantrums, freakouts, and I get very emotional, crying emotional, so hysterical. And then it kind of leads into, I guess, I will push until I get the answer that I want, the reaction that I want. And if I don't get the reaction I want, and this is why I love my husband, because he will never get, he'll add fuel to the fire, don't get me wrong, but he'll never come at me in a way that will make me feel bad about it. Yeah, he'll sort me out, but he'll help me also identify.
So you will push and push and push because you want to cause destruction at that point.
Yeah,
but he won't let you. At the end of the day.
So yeah, he won't. He won't
go the full extent of destroying everything.
I'm a recovering addict, and there's times I'll start slamming, and I'm like, that's it, fuck it. I'm gonna go I'm getting an 80 bag. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
And he'll, as much as I've hit and I've thrown and I've done this to him, he'll stand in front of the door. Yeah. If he didn't care about me, he'd be like, hey, bye, go.
Yeah.
He cares about me, right? So then it's a processing that. And just recently today, he went out and he got me a journal. He's like, you're doing so well right now. We don't need you to fuck up. So let's start processing things in a different way. So we have things like a calendar on my fridge. I'll put a number every day, and then that way he can start to identify when I'm feeling lower. So when I'm feeling lower on the chart, I'll come home, there's snacks in the drawer, there's a rented... He knows what to do, or if he sees me getting manic. So manic that's the best time because I get the most done. I'm the most successful during my manic. I can clean the house. I'm social. But then I can sleep. Last Friday, I had such a draining day at work. I slept from Friday at 7 and I woke up at 7, or Sunday at 1 p.m. I couldn't get out of bed. There's a thing called the spoon theory. And what that is everybody is given 10 spoons a day. For me, specifically, one activity is a spoon. So if I shower, that's a spoon. If I brush my teeth, that's a spoon. If I walk to work, that's a spoon. Then I work, that's a spoon. So by the time I get home, I have to decide, I only have 4 spoons left. Do I spend it with my dogs, clean my house, or spend it on me and my husband? And you have to understand, if you go into a deficit of spoons, your spoons don't roll over. So if I use 11 spoons today, I only have 9 on me tomorrow. Normal people, or you guys, no offense, normal people will brushing your teeth, showering, going to work, and working. That's 1 spoon for you. That's just 1 spoon for you. That's a breeze.
I get that. Yeah. So the good thing is at least you're first of all you're aware of what it is.
Oh yeah, but it took a long time.
And the next thing is really having like the right coping mechanism. So when it comes to a lot of these disorders, what I've learned is the people lack the knowledge, number one, of what different type of coping mechanism work for them, because everything is the end of the world. It's all catastrophic. It could be the smallest thing, but it magnifies and magnifies and magnifies, and it spirals out of control. And they don't know how to ground themselves back again. So once you have coping mechanisms in place, so if you are raging, you'll know, okay, how do I calm myself down? I have to write stuff down or read my journal, right? Whereas positive things listed in there, so it really is not the end of the world. I'm being emotional, which is fine, but my man does still love me. These are all the positive things I have going on in my life, so it really isn't as bad as it is, right? So the hard part is to continue with that, right? So to make sure that you're diligent whenever you are having an episode, to always kind of go back to that, right? Does anyone here know people who are like, who have borderline personality disorder? No? Or any other disorder?
Schizophrenia, yeah. I'm not very close though. It was a cousin and an uncle. We didn't know what was wrong with him, and they kept it a secret. In our culture, they do keep
has that stigma.
Like that. Stigma. So I found out after he passed.
That he had it.
In his 70s or 80s. Yeah.
I think the schizo thing is very different in comparison to like a personality disorder, because that I feel is a real illness. I think the personality disorder, this is my opinion on it, it's a personality disorder, meaning it's a behavioral thing for people. And what they do is they just don't give a shit. They don't care about being held accountable. So they can be very nasty and very cruel and very manipulative and mean, and they're just going to continue doing that. So because that's their personality. So a lot of people think, oh no, that person shouldn't be held responsible. No, fucking right they should be. Like, change their personality. Stop being a creep. Stop being an asshole. But they won't, because they can get away with it.
Well, you're right, because essentially it's just your chemicals in your brain are imbalanced. That's what it is. Once your balance gets fixed, you're fixed.
But also at the same time, it's making that conscious effort
Yes.
to not being an asshole. Because anybody can be an asshole.
Self-aware.
So there's some people out there who are very grumpy and rude, right? That's a personality disorder. That's just him being grumpy and rude. He can stop being grumpy and rude. Doesn't always have to be when he chooses to. That's his go-to when he gets triggered. So if something happened, he's pissed off, now he's grumpy and rude. So he can change that, but people get very, very comfortable with their coping mechanisms, even though they know it's damaging, they'll just keep going to that. So what a lot of the medical world they do is they teach you to untrain your mind of whatever methods you were using, and now try these methods, right? Like cognitive behavioral therapy. So they teach you, okay, your partner said something, you got triggered by it, you're angry now, you're raging. Now, instead of you reacting the way you normally would do, open up your journal. Because in your journal, you previously wrote down 10 great things about your partner. So now you read them and go, okay, my partner's not really all that bad. Then they might tell you from there, do some breathing techniques, or do some stretching, or whatever. Yoga is very good as well.
Actually, and I just learned this recently for, with autism too, shocking the body and with sour candy. So if you're in an area, because sometimes if you change the temperature of your body, that helps. But sometimes you're not in an area, like you can't grab an ice cube if you're getting on the bus. So always carry a pack of candy with you.
And sour, whatever.
Yeah, and it shocks your brain so much that it changes your way of thinking in a sense. And you're like, okay, what was I even mad about? I'm so focused on what's going on. The senses in my mouth are overtaking the emotion that I'm feeling.
And most of this stuff, these disorders, they stem from childhood. And from who? Your parents.
Trauma.
It's all from your parents.
I wouldn't say necessarily parents, but trauma that happened under your parents.
But when it comes to NPD and BPD, it's directly from the way your parents raised you, with the amount of attention they gave you or the lack of. And that's the personality traits that you develop. Those are the coping mechanisms you've learned. And as you get older, that's what you apply. So it's been years and years of you being that way. So this is why, what I was saying earlier, your parents, you don't realize it, they have so much influence on who you are today and who you're going to be tomorrow. how you're going to be in a marriage, how you're going to be as a mother or a father. All of that, a lot of that is learned in your subconscious mind. You don't even realize it. So if in a household, the man, a boy grew up where the father was always right and he constantly yelled at the mother, blah, blah, he's become used to that toxic environment. So now if he's in a relationship and none of that stuff's going on, he's wondering, I don't know if things are okay. He's used to that environment of constant yelling and screaming and fighting. That's where he feels normal. So he's going to fight with you. Because that's the way they think, oh, she's not fighting with me, there's something wrong here. So parents, I truly believe, are the ones who are responsible for the way that their children, when they become adults, they're responsible for that. So if you're able to figure out the good qualities that your parents have from the bad ones and separate them and be able to apply that, that's ideal, right? But it kind of gets hard.